When most people play Dead by Daylight, their only focus is to escape the match or sacrifice all of the survivors. After all, that's the point of the game. A game like this is not that deep, both in the lore or the Easter eggs and secrets it contains. But what if I told you that this game has had a secret message, an encrypted message so hard to decode that it has been unresolved for 5 years now? My name is MintSkull, and today I would like to present to you Mysteries of the Fog, a series focused on the mysteries and very obscure topics that this game holds and nobody has ever talked about for years. In today's episode, we will be focusing on the entity's speech secret. According to the lore of the game, nobody knows exactly what is the entity or how it operates. All we have is that it is an incomprehensible being that preys on the hope and emotions of others. The only physical manifestation of the entity is through the dark, spider-like claws and spikes that appear all around the map, either when a survivor is sacrificed or through some perks and add-ons that block windows, pallets or totems. But curiously enough, we do know that the entity is capable of speech through a weird language. If you want to hear the entity talk, there are 3 ways that you can do it. The first way, and most common and oldest one, is to use the perk Whispers. You will constantly hear the entity through the match when you are close to a survivor. I will play the sound of Whispers now. The second way to hear the voice of the entity is if you are in Madness Tier 3, that can only be achieved by being zapped by the doctor. You can hear them here. The third and coolest way to hear the entity's speech is singing. You heard me right. The entity composed a mixtape for the Legion to use to boost their power, and when you equip it, your chase music gets an extra sound effect of the entity singing, which you can hear here. Now, all of this might be cool for some, but there is an issue. What is the entity saying during these speeches? Some people have said that the entity says the word death or he is dead, but nobody knows who it is referring to. Second of all, it is hard to decipher what the entity is saying. The plague's whispers are way more clear than the entity's, and we still to this day do not know the exact translation of what she is saying, only an approximation. What if it's all gibberish and there is no translation? What if it's completely made up by the developers and they never intended anyone to try and translate its words to English? Well, that's actually not true. According to the developers, the entity's speech is decipherable, and this all started on June 14th, 2017. So let's start by explaining the context of all of this. This date is very special. It is the release of the game, and thus, it was the first anniversary of Dead by Daylight, and Behavior decided to make one of the coolest events of all time. Every single day, they made us a community challenge that we had to complete in order to get cool free cosmetics. These cosmetics were recolors of the exclusive packs cosmetics that during that time were not free for everyone, and additionally, they gave out a free, totally new weapon for the base killers at the time: Trapper, Wraith, Hillbilly and Nurse. The first one of these weapons was the Bolo machete for the Trapper, but there was something weird about it: the description of this weapon. The first part is the typical weapon description that any other weapon would have, but what is more interesting is the second part of the description. It states, "An almost imperceptible whisper echoes in the wielder's mind." And then we have something that a lot of people thought was gibberish. The second day came in, and again we got a weapon for the Wraith, and it also had a 2-part description with the exact same encoded message. Third day, Hillbilly was the one getting it. Fourth day, Nurse got a weapon like that. But this is not the only mystery of each of these weapons, because each of these weapons not only had the exact same weird description on them, but each and every single one of them had this weird engraving that you could find somewhere on them. On the machete, it's on the top part of the bolo knife. On the raised weapon, it is located under the feline skull on the metallic shaft of the weapon. On hillbillies, it is located in the center of the hammerhead. And on the nurse, it is also in a similar spot to Trapper's machete. What did this symbol mean? And what is the message saying? Is it actually decipherable? Everyone tried to see what it meant, nobody knew. That's when, weeks later, the fanbase asked Behavior directly in one of their developer streams, and this is the answer we got.
It reminds me in the anniversary event, we gave weapons to the killers, some of them, and in the description there is a message in entity speak.
Ooh, nice.
And people were wondering if that was a thing or if it was just gibberish. It's actually a thing. There will be more in the future of these entity speech, so I'm sure someone somewhere will eventually decipher it. That would be
Well, that's cool. 'Cause that was another thing that was cut that we had planned on was having these messages that were left in the levels
Yeah.
that people would find and then put together
Absolutely,
little pieces
absolutely.
and puzzles. And there was a big plan for that in a whiteboard.
Yeah.
Not in an actual programming
Yes.
feature list. Then we had other issues to fix.
Yeah. This is actually something really exciting when you're developing a game. You kind of design in your head the end game, or
Yeah.
the, like in 2 years when people are still gonna play, what's gonna be the exciting thing, and this is still exciting. We've never done
Mhm.
it. There's something there. Eventually, it's gonna happen.
This stream happened on the 5th of October 2017, and to this day, nobody has the answer as to what these messages mean. People tried their best to find an answer to this message. A Steam group was created with the purpose of deciphering it, but to this day, this message remains a mystery. What is sadder is that this is not the only phrase the entity has said that can be decrypted, as the add-on for the map, called Odd Stamp, also contains a word from the entity. Will we ever get an answer to this unresolved mystery? I don't have an answer for that. Maybe if this video is popular enough, a lot of new players who have never heard about this before will be interested on this mystery. Maybe we can join in efforts and try to decode this message, finally, after 5 years. But for now, that is the end of the vid. And before you click off, I just wanted to thank you for watching this fully. Did you enjoy this type of content? If you do, make sure to like this video to show your support, and also, if you could, subscribe to my channel. It's just one click and you will get free, interesting Dead by Daylight content consistently. If this video gets enough support, I will release a part 2 of this series. If this is your first time on the channel and you want more content like this, then make sure to check out the playlist that is full of cool facts and stuff about Dead by Daylight that I bet you didn't know before. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.